at me. Focus. How do I look?
I started recording.
Leave it now. I look like smooth Smurf right now. I was shaking too much. I keep on telling these people that I'm not their mate. They don't want to believe. What?
The end of my, you didn't fold it well.
My good. Hi guys, welcome to the channel. My name is NDIFON NTUI, and if this is your first time, please don't forget to like and subscribe if you like the video. On this channel I make sewing tutorials. I post new videos every Wednesdays and Saturdays. In this video I'm going to teach you guys an easy way to make this short, the short that you've seen in the video, in the b-roll footage just before this one started. Now if you're a beginner or if you're a person that wants to brush up on your skill in sewing, and I offer online tutorials. If you're interested, I would show you a video on how to make a jumpsuit, so that you and I so that you can decide if this method of learning is the best for you. Okay, so don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye. You're welcome to another class. Now to begin, as you've seen, I have not folded my paper, so please do not fold when you're cutting. Now to begin, we'll come to the top. And I'll roll half an inch. The space from the edge to where that line is half an inch. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to mark all my vertical measurements. Now the vertical measurements are the crotch measurements and the short length. The crotch measurement is 10. I'll go to 10 is, look at, from here to here is 10. The next one I'm going to place is the short length. The short length is 15. I'm going to come to 15 and make a mark, so that's when I've made a mark. Alright. Now the next thing is I'm going to rule a line across. That's the short length. I'm going to rule a line across the crotch. Alright. When I'm done with that, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start placing my horizontal measurements. So the first one that we will place is the waist. Okay, the distance from here to here is 10. Please don't forget that. Okay, this is the crotch is 10. So I'll come to the waist at the top, the very first line there. I'm going to place the hip up here first. The hip is 10.25. I'm going to come here, place 10.25 first. Come to the crotch line, place 10 at that point. Okay, so from here to here is 10.25. that's the hip measurements divided by 4. The hip is 41 divided by 4 is 10.25. that's what I've placed up and down. Okay, now I'm going to roll a line from here straight up. Okay, I'll come back to the top. Now if you remember, at the top I placed the hip. It's not supposed to be so up there I'm going to place the waist measurement. The waist measurement is 8.25. the waist is 33 divided by 4 is 8.25. Okay, now I'm going to add 1 inch to that 8.25, so I'm going to make a mark up there at 9.25. so since I had 8.25 at the waist, I added 1 inch and I marked 9.25. make sure you always add 1 inch to your waist measurements after you have divided it. I'm going to roll a line from that waistline to the hip line, as you can see. The next thing I'm going to place is my thigh measurement. Now the thigh measurement is 27 divided by 2 is 13.5. Okay, I'm going to come here, make it. I'm going to come here and make a mark at 13.5, and I made a curve. Simply roll a straight line down, come to the bottom, and I'm keeping 2 inches of allowance at the bottom, so that's where 2 inches is. I'm simply going to roll a straight line, and then I'm going to complete this side right here. Okay, make it. Now we have to slope the front because of the curve that you have in front of your waist. So from that line I came down by ½ inch, and I would simply draw a line to show that there's a slope in front. Now I have to cut it out. I'm going to come from the bottom, I'm going to chop here, come up the sides, come around the curve. Now at the top, yeah, cut that side too. Now have you seen that line that I sloped because of the front is lower? We're going to have to run another hard line on top of that one, a parallel line. Watch closely. You would see that I'm going to draw a fresh line, and if you see, there's a line on top now. The space between them is half an inch, so make sure you do that. That will serve as your allowance when you're attaching your band. All right, that's all for the front. So it's time to cut the back. When it's time to cut the back, you see I've placed the front pattern on top of the pattern paper. Now what I want you to do is I want you to use paper tape and secure the front to the back. Make sure you have up here, you have 2 inches, okay, 2 inches here, okay. On this other side here, have 2 inches on the side. Just keep 2 inches all around. All right, when you have that, bind it using your paper tape. The difference between the front and the back is not so much. The first thing you're going to do is you come to the crotch line over here. I want you to replicate that line, okay. See what I'm doing? I'm using my red marker to mark out the front. That's the exact same line that we have there. Now you come to the top, okay. Use your tape. There's something we need to do here. You see that red line? Come 1 inch after the red line and make a mark there. From here to here is 1 inch. Make 1 inch there, and then curve that point, that 1 inch point. Curve it into the original crotch line that we had as naturally as you can. All right, you've seen that from here to here is 1 inch. Then I made a curve connecting back to the initial line. The next thing I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to lift the back. Because of the butts that's at the back, you have to lift it up so that it climbs the gindi, the butt. So please come to that point, that new 1 inch there. You see that 1 inch point? Because of the butt, we're going to have to lift that point up at 1.5. So I'm placing 1.5 up here, okay. You see that right on top of where we have that 1 inch. I'm going to rule a line connecting that point straight up, connect here to the waist. That's the side that we have there, okay. So yeah, from that edge I've made a curve up to that point. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to need to keep all our allowances. You'll come to the top part here, keep 3 inches at this point. Because of the 1 inch that we kept there, that's why it's 3 inches. It's supposed to be 2, but because we came in by 1 inch here, we're paying for it there. That's why we have 3 at that point. So that's 3 inches there. After you've made the mark, draw a line and complete it. And then the next thing I want you to do is come to the thigh area, make a mark here 1.5. Come to the bottom, make a mark here 1.5. all right. And then in front of here, I want you to do the same thing. Keep 1.5 here, keep 1.5 at allowance at the bottom. Just simply draw a straight line, complete this line that you have around the crotch, and just simply rule a line. You see, just draw a line at the edge of the front that you had. You see, exactly the same length with the blue with the fronts there. Okay, then connect all the dots that we have on the side. We'll connect the 3 inches to the 1.5 and then connect the 1.5 straight down to the hem of the shirt. When you're done with that, we're going to chop it up. So cut exactly on where we have the red marks. Come in at this point. Okay. So when you're done with that, we need to cut the fabric. So untape the front from the back. If you notice, we didn't keep the paper on the fold when we're cutting, because when we cut the fabric, we have to keep the fabric on the fold. So please make sure you keep the fabric on a fold like I have done. And if you want, you can pin it down or drop something heavy like I dropped my scissors there and simply cut. Okay, make sure you keep it on the fold so that when you're done, you end up with 2 pieces for the front facing front when you are cutting, please. So here I have the front. This is 2 sides for the front, and do the same thing for the back. Keep the fabric on the fold and then cut the back. Now you see this piece of paper that I have here. You've seen the thumbnail that we have. You've seen the video when the video first started playing. You have to make the pockets. So from here to here is 10.5 on both sides. Cut a rectangle 10.5, like here to here is 10.5, and from this edge here is 7.5. So cut a rectangle that is 10.5 by 7.5. okay, you see that all sides, 2 sides are equal. Yep. So you see this 7.5, 10.5. so when you're done with that, you're going to come to the middle of 7.5. You see this part here? The middle of 7.5 is 3.75. So we're going to come to the middle and make a mark there. Okay, and then we're going to come to the side here. From here, make a mark at 5.5. okay, from here to 5.5 inches, make a mark there. The next thing we're going to do is to just create an angle. So from up down, then come across and then make an arc. Okay, this is going to serve as the curve for your pocket. All right, when you've done that, we're going to chop it off. So cut out that part there. You can discard of that part. So I'm going to use a black satin fabric for the pocket so that it has some contrast. Now this is the fabric I intend to use. We're going to need to place the paper that we have on top of this and cut. Let me press it and smoothen it down. Keep the fabric. Okay, what I'm going to do, you see there's ½ inch in front of here and ½ inch at the bottom. Please do the same thing on yours. Keep ½ inch in front like I have and ½ inch at the bottom. Cut that side the same, cut around the curve the same, cut the top the same. Exactly what I have done. All right, now let's start working on the trouser. At the back, you're going to have to hold your dart. So you see this is the back. You can discard of the pattern. You can simply fold. Okay, arrange the hem at the bottom. You can leave the top part here with the slope. Make a notch in the middle. You see, I folded the top part into two, into two, and then made a notch. So now I'm going to press and iron it so that it stays. Okay, just a little. Okay, so now to the machine we go. All right, so let's hold the dart. This is the back that we've ironed and we've folded. I want you to hold a dart of 4 inches. Okay, so you come to the edge, you see where 4 inches is. I'm going to start my dart from here. I'm starting from the edge of the fabric and I'm going to sew it and open it up to ½ inch. See, I started from nothing and I tapered out to ½ inch. At the bottom here is nothing. Then you do the same thing on both sides of the back. This is only one side, so you do the exact same thing to the other side. Go to your table and iron it when you are done with both of them. So this is the front. I've installed the pockets on one side, so I'm trying to show you guys what we're trying to achieve before we start. So but the same thing I'm going to show you on the other pocket is what I did to this part. All right, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to bring out the pocket. We're going to need to use our bias piping. If you watch the previous video, it's the same thing I did around the sleeve that I'm doing here. So if you have not seen it, go and check it out. So I'm going to turn it, yeah, this is the right side, flip it over to the wrong side like I have done, and then we're going to open up the bias. Please, you see, open up one side of the bias, put it into your machine and stitch on that crease, the line that you have when you open up the bias. That's where you can see, that's where my needle is landing. So I'm going to sew all around. Make sure you backstitch at the beginning and at the end. Cut off the excess and any thread you have, then turn everything to the front. So watch and see. Now when I turn it to the front, you will see that we have that nice blue detail in front of the pocket. Okay, so make sure that your stitches land on the edge of the blue, as close to the edge as possible. Backstitch and lock it when you're done. Now you take this to your ironing table, you lay it flat and press it. When you're done with pressing the curve, you see this straight edge, you're going to need to bend it and iron it. Okay, so bend here flat and iron it. Do the same thing on this part. Iron here in too and do it flat. So I'm going to go and iron it, come back and show you what is next. All right, so you can see I've ironed here and I've ironed the bottom. So I'm going to flip it. Okay, flip it, place it and align it on the front. So and then stitch around the edge. Okay, so you can see me, I'm going to run from the top all the way to the bottom. Leave your needle in, pick it up, turn it around and then continue. Okay, stitch it all the way. Remember to back stitch when you get to the end and lock it. I'm going to take it to my table, press and iron it. You can see we've created the pocket. When you're done with fixing the pocket on both sides, you're going to bring the back. After we fixed the darts already, make sure you fix the darts on both sides of the back before you continue onto this step. So you bring the back, come to the very top, and I'm going to sew around the back. You see, I'm going around the curve. When I'm close to 1.5 inches to the edge, when I'm 1.5 inches to the edge, I'm going to lock it. You see, leave a space of 1.5 here. When I open it, you see here it's still open. We will need it later on. Now do the same thing to the front. Okay, so I'm joining the front top to bottom at 1/2 inch. If you want to fix the zipper in front, I have a video on that already. Watch my video on how to create a zipper fly if you want to fix your zipper in front. I did the same thing here. I left 1.5 close to the end of the curve. I left 1.5 there. Now this is the front. We're going to join the front to the back on the side. Make sure you place it front facing front, and then I'm going to join one side at 1/2 inch. So you can see this, I'm only joining one side. Don't join the other side just yet. We'll need to attach the band before you lock the other side, since it's a side zip. Okay, so I've fixed this part. The next step is to cut the band. This is the side that we've joined. This is the front, this is the back. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to measure from here around the waist. Start from the very beginning. You can see me measuring through. Okay, all the way down. At the end there I have 35. It's time for us to cut the band. We have to cut the band at 35. So get a piece of fabric like this. Okay, you have to make sure that the surface is smooth. As you can see here, my edge is a bit rough, so I'm going to cut it to make sure that it is smooth, and then I'm going to bend my tape. Okay, 35. Fold your tape into 2. You can see the tape is folded in half, just like as the fabric is. There's a curve at the end there, so go check and see. So okay, yes, I do have 35. I'm going to come to the beginning of 35, and I'm going to make a mark at the beginning. Now I'm going to mark out the height of my band. Now I want to have a 2-inch band at the end of the day. So what I'm going to do is 2 inches times 2 is 4. Then I'm going to keep 1 inch for my sewing, so 5. So from the height of the band is 5 inches. I'm going to mark that on both sides. Okay, draw a straight line up. Okay, so this is 35 exactly. I'm just confirming. And then I'm going to connect the 2 5 inches. So I'm going to connect the 5 inches that we have in front here to the one that we have on this other side, and I'm going to cut out. Okay, so cut out. When you get close to the end, add 1/2 inch like you've seen me. After the pink line, you can see we have a 1/2 inch space there. Make sure you do the same thing on yours. Now the next thing you're going to need is non-woven fusible interfacing. Lightweight non-woven fusible interfacing is what you would need. If you're in Nigeria, look for soft gum stay. All right, that's the next thing we're going to need for the band. All right, so now you see this is on the fold. Now that is the non-woven fusible interfacing. That's my soft gum stay. Place half of, if you see I'm placing half of my band. All right, so if my band is 5 inches, I'm putting my band 2.5 inches in. All right, and as you can see, that band is half of it. Now you take the front side, that's the part of your gum stay that has the glue on it. You're going to take it, make it face the back of the fabric that you have, and I'm simply ironing on top of it. Okay, so I'm binding my fabric to the interfacing that is underneath. If you look at this, if I turn it over, you see that I've binded them together. Okay, so I want you to press and iron it. Take your time with it. When I'm done ironing, I need to cut off some excess from here. So yeah, it's been ironed on. Now the next thing I want you to do is come to, you see this side that doesn't have any interfacing, come to the side that has no interfacing, and I want you to bend 1/2 inch. The side with no interfacing, bend it in by 1/2 inch, iron it from beginning all the way down. Okay, Okay, you can see me here. I'm ironing it ½ inch. Make sure you do the same thing on the part that has no interfacing on it. When you're done with that, I want to flip it over. You see, turn it. Look at how I'm turning it. The side that has interfacing, flip it over on top of the side that has no interfacing, and iron. Make sure you leave ½ inch at the bottom. If you look, you will see there's ½ inch excess in front of where the bent part stopped. That's the side that had no interfacing that we ironed, that we folded ½ inch. When I turn it over, I'm keeping it ½ inch shorter. Now I'm going to go to my machine. I'm going to sew from here down ½ inch. I'm also going to lock here down at ½ inch. So let me go that. So you can see here, I've locked it. Okay. If you look here too, you'll see I have locked here at ½ inch. Turn it inside out. Okay. Turn it inside out like so. Do the same thing here too. Also turn it inside out. Okay. Press and iron it when you are done turning it inside out. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start to install the band. So you come to the front that you have here. Okay, you take this part. You see this part that you can see, place the edge like so, put it into your machine. You are going to sew. Don't touch that one that I've lifted up. You see that part that I lifted up, do not add it when you are stitching. You are only stitching the part of your band that had the interfacing onto the fabric. Okay, make sure you tuck your pockets in when you are going across. So you've seen the part that I bent when I was the first part that I ironed that had no interfacing is not involved in this sewing. Simply just go across the waist without it. When you are done, you see this place, remember that part was hanging out. You simply just plant all your rough work into it. Look at it. I'm going to simply plant all my rough work into the band now. Okay, when you're done with that, we're going to need to stitch from here all the way down. Plant all your rough work inside the band and stitch from the beginning all the way down. Okay, yeah, my thread snaps too. It's not I'm not an immortal person as people think I am. But I should cut that part out too. No, I won't cut it out. Alright, so when I'm done stitching across the waist, you see that we have installed the band. Take it to your table, press and iron it. When you're done with that, we're going to come to the side. Remember the side that was open? On this side of the waist, we're going to lock it. So you see, this is the edge of both bands. Don't backstitch when you start sewing. I'm going to sew from the top all the way down. I'm basically locking this side. Okay, so we're going to sew from here down to 8 inches. Sorry. Now from the top of the waist, we're sewing down to 8 inches. I'm going to backstitch and lock it. Okay, and then I'm going to continue going down. This is the other side of my waist. Remember, we sewed one side, fixed the band. Now we'll collapse the band into half and then run from here all the way down. When you're done with that, if you notice, we've done the waist, but the center here is still open. So this is one side of the thigh, this is another side of the thigh. What we're going to do is we're going to come to this thigh. We're going to sew it here individually. So you see this part, we're going to take the front of this thigh and place with the back of that thigh, the exact same leg. You see this, you take one leg, join it together front and back, then join the other side separately. You do not join left leg to right leg. So you take the front of the left leg and join into the back of the left leg. Take the front of the right leg, join into the back of the right leg. I hope that is clear. So we're done with the first leg. Repeat the exact same thing. So you see this part here, this is still separate. We're joining the front and the back together. And remember, all my joinings are only ½ inch, so please don't use more than ½ inch. When you're done with that, there'll be a hole in the center between the front and the back. I want you to spread it flat. Okay, spread it flat and then stitch from one side across to the other. So by the time you've sewn the both legs, there'll be a space there. What you do is you spread the front and the back and sew across. So the next thing is to hem the bottom of the short. Here you can see we have the hem here. We're going to bend ½ inch. Okay, fold ½ inch, press and iron. Okay, turn on it. Make sure you iron it carefully. Whatever you do to this leg, do the same thing to the hem on the other part. When you're done, I want you to fold 1.5 inches. If you remember, we kept 2.5 inches. We kept 2 inches, sorry, at the hem. So first we fold half an inch, would have 1.5 left. You now bend 1.5 to complete it. Okay. Okay. So that is that. Let's take this to the machine and sew around it. Okay, so when you're done with that, I want you to lift it up, come to where you have 1.5 inches and stitch around. If you use your finger, you would feel the bump that you have at the part where you tucked in half an inch. So use that as a guide to simply stitch around. All right. When you get to the end, make sure you back stitch. Okay, and if you are doing this right, it will take you from where you start from, turn around and bring you to that exact same point. We're almost done with the short. As you can see, it has taken form. The last thing we're going to do is we have to fix the zipper on the side. So in case you don't know how to fix the zipper, check out my video on how to fix a zipper. It's I think the 3rd or 4th channel on video on this channel. So yeah, check that out. I'm basically doing, you can use that here. So remember that if you remember when we were locking that side, we didn't lock back stitch at the top. We sewed all the way down. When we got to 8 inches, we back stitched and locked it there. I want you to open it up, okay? So loosen from the waist to that 8 inches, okay? And then you see, you place your zip appropriately, okay? Fold your excess under and then sew from top all the way down. So we stitched the waist from nothing. That's, we didn't back stitch at the top. We stitched all the way down to 8 inches. We locked it at 8 inches. Now we've opened it up and I'm simply fixing my zip using the crease. You know, when you join 2 pieces of fabric together, there'll be a line, or there'll be a line where your thread landed on. Use that as a guide to fix your zipper so that your zipper doesn't consume more than what it's supposed to, and at the end of the day the pattern will land as just exactly what you had anticipated. Okay, so I'm simply installing the zipper from top all the way to the bottom, and when you're done with that, you are done with the short. Congratulations for coming this far. I would see you guys in the next video. Have a lovely day. Yeah, you've seen the short on the model already. That's how you go about it. Bye bye.